Indus Valley civilization declined? Why there is a discontinuity from the Indus Valley civilization to the Rig Vedic civilization? Are we going to get these answers? Maybe yes, because recently we have found a new archaeological site at Sinauli which may be the key to answer these questions. Hi, myself Deepak Thakur, and today in this video we are going to discuss about the various and important discoveries at this site. So first of all, the importance of this site. The importance of this site is that it is connecting the Indus Valley civilization or the mature period of Indus Valley civilization with the Rig Vedic time, which otherwise have 400 years of gap, because we say the mature part of the Harappan civilization was 1900 BC, and then we say the initial years or initial period of the Rig Vedic time was 1500 BC. So there is a gap of 400 years. Earlier, it was said that due to various reasons the Indus Valley civilization declined and a new civilization in the eastern part of the Indian subcontinent started in the form of Rig Vedic time period. So how this linkage, how Sinauli is going to help us to link with between these two periods or these two time frames. Let's see how it has been made possible by the this new site. First, about the location of this site. This site is in Uttar Pradesh, in Bhagpat district of Uttar Pradesh, and about 70 kilometers from New Delhi. So if you are aware about the Indus Valley civilization, then you must be aware that it is on the western part of India, and it is most part is in Pakistan now, and we are talking about the time period of 1900 BC. And then when we move to the Indus Valley civilization, it is on the UP Bihar region or the Ganga Yamuna Doab, where we say that about 1500 BC this civilization got its recognition or started getting some kind of expansion in terms of the area. So this is the area we are talking about, and moving further, there are various features which are common between the Indus Valley civilization and the Vedic age, because we are getting some commonalities here which is going to establish some kind of connection between the both of them. First of all, the burials. Let's talk about the burials. These are the representation of the burial there which we found. In this burial we found various kind of potteries and various kind of war equipments also, which we see, and the weapons also, which we found in these burials. About 116 burials were found. This excavation was done in 2008, from 2005 to 2008, and then in 2018. And in this period, we found many of the artifacts which are connecting the dots in both the civilization. So first of all, about the burials. In here we found coffins or many coffins which has 4 legs. 4 legs means it was on the raised platform. It may be of a wood or maybe wood with the plating of the copper. So that is one thing. Now we also found various vessels and bowls with these burials. Now we know about that there was burials in the Indus Valley civilization also, but the positioning of the vessels and the various potteries signifies that they have some kind of rituals got performed when these burials were when the bodies were basically buried here. So this is connecting with the Vedic age, because in the Vedic age we know that there was a concept of ceremonies performed while burying a body. So that is one. Now similarly, the kind of pottery we are getting there, that is OCP, that is orchid color pottery, we found here, which is otherwise not available in the Harappan civilization but away to the Vedic age. That is also a connection which we are found, which we got there. Now the very important point which we are mentioning here, in the excavation we also got some of the burials or most of the burials which were having weapons in them. And we know that Harappan civilization people were not a warrior class, because we mostly connect with them with a trading community, because we do not found many weapons or a warlike equipment with them. But but with the Rig Vedic time, we are aware that they have all these things like chariots, like swords. They were aware about these things like horse drawn chariots and all. So this is also connecting here, that here we found a similarity between Harappan civilization and the Vedic age, that they were not aware about the there is linkage in the poetry, but there was dislinkage or dissimilarity or discontinuity in the use of the weaponry. So we found the weaponry. So we are establishing the point that maybe it is the evolutionary phase, that the community which was otherwise led by the traders, now in the evolutionary phase there was a warrior class also, which otherwise further converted into the proper empires or a big kingdoms or a big territories, which we know about in the Rig Vedic time in various by various names. So that is the linkage here. Now let's discuss about various other points here, like the weapon which we found. So we have established that it is some kind of burial where the warrior class has been buried, and with them we found many weapons, and the important weapons in them is the sword. This is not a simple sword, it is a antenna sword. Why we are calling it an antenna sword? Because of this part. Because of this part, it has a handle, but with to protect the hand or your fingers or the warrior's fingers, they were having the antenna attached to them, so that they can protect the hand, and this can be made more lethal and more useful and more effective. So they were having these kind of weaponry also. And interesting part is that we also found women, many evidences that there were women warriors also. This is the first excavation in India where we found the evidences of a woman warrior, because there were many skeletons or many evidences that women were buried with weapons in these burials. So that is the one thing. And second interesting part, that though the women were we are saying, or these evidences are saying that there were women burials, but interesting part is that women, while burying the woman, they used to chop off the ankle of the woman or of the body. Why so? Because this is a well-known phenomena that it is said that if there is a faith in death after life after death, then there is always this given thing that they try to keep the body there, so they do not want the body to move further, and that's why they cut the ankles. That is one. Now we also find various shields. Apart from these swords, we also found shields, which is a must thing which a warrior should have. One in the one hand, if he is carrying a weapon, carrying a weapon to attack, then he should also have a weapon to some kind of shield or protective gear also. So here we found two types of shields. Here also it established that there was a woman warrior. How? Because in some of the burials we found these kind of shields, which was made of wood, but having the plating of the copper, and on the other side we also had the wood shields, but were decorated with the satatite. Satatite, this is a element, this is a kind of metal here which was used. Now further, for the first time in India, we found evidence, or the earliest evidence, of the chariot also. This is the first time. That's why the site of Sinauli is so much important, because the chariot which we found, it was such a advanced chariot which was not which we haven't seen in the contemporary history of that time, with the whether it is Sumerians, whether it is Mesopotamians. So they didn't have such kind of advanced chariot with them. And with these chariots, we also found one more thing, three interesting things. That first, that it was connected with the axle, a long axle, which gives the evidence that it may be drawn by the horse itself. And then the wheels which were used. Okay, we are aware that Harappan civilization people were also aware about the wheels. That but the thing is, the toy which we found, and based on which we are saying that they are aware about the wheels, they were having the solid wheels. Solid wheels means that you do not have any kind of spokes or anything, but you have a one piece of whether it is a stone or a wood. So this is how a solid wheels look like. But in the Sumerian and Mesopotamian, we know that they were aware about the spoke wheels, means they were having the wheels with the spokes like this. So this was a difference there. Now in this site, at Sinauli, we found a different kind of wheel design, where we see a wood wheel, but to give the strength to the wheel, it was attached with, it was having the plating of copper here too. and this is also the reason that we able to find it, because wood is something which not able to sustain the weather for that long time, but metal can. So that's why we are able to find this. I will show you the image, actual image of that also. So that is the thing which we found there. Now next, so this is an example of a Mesopotamian chariot or a bull cart which we can see, which is basically drawn by horses. So here we can see that the wheel are of a solid form. Okay, so this is, we are saying that in comparison to these kind of wheels, the wheels which we found, or the chariot which we found in the at the Sinauli site, that is much and advanced. Now you have advanced chariot here also in the Sumerian civilization, but the thing is that it was the first evidence in India that we are getting these kind of wheels, archaeological evidences. Now this is the actual picture. You can see the traces of this wheel here. These are the traces of which the representation is on the other side. Now next, so we got to know that this site has importance not only in terms of connecting the dot between the Indus Valley civilization and the Rigvedic time, but it is also important to tell us that there was a warrior class in India in that period, and this warrior class having the weaponry, such advanced weaponry which was not available or were not known with many other contemporary civilization of that time. So that is a important discovery here. Now we aware that Harappan civilization were having the knowledge, and though their language is not still deciphered, so but many of the evidences which we got that established that there was some kind of priest king concept in the Harappan civilization, that we say that this whole of this organization, or this whole of the sites, or whole of the civilization may have some kind of leaders in the form of priest, or maybe in the form of, or in other forms. But here in this site we found few special burials also, like this burial. This we are calling it a royal burial because it is different from the other burials, because it has a coffin which is covered from the upper side also, and not only covered, but the covered or the wooden coffin which was made, it was very much decorated with various artifacts, like having the anthropomorphic figures also. What is anthropomorphic figure? When you draw something, or you can engrave something like of a human figures, like this, like this. So we found this on these sides. Okay, this is why we are calling it a royal burial, and not only because the coffin was very much decorated, but also here we found two chariots in one burial, and with that we found many other artifacts which signifies that it has some kind of it was some kind of a privileged person which is buried there, maybe the tribal leader. So here we are connecting the dot that in the Indus Valley civilization, it was they were having the priest king or a traders community which is governing the things, but eventually it led to the development of a warrior class, because they may be having some kind of a fight with the other communities, and then further coming to the Rigvedic time, we see the territories and the chieftains concept there. So these are the important discoveries in these sites, on the basis of which we are saying that maybe this site will help us to connect the dot with the history, and specifically some people say that it may also establish that Aryans were not foreigners, they were indigenous. So this discovery and the evidence which we are finding is giving fuel to this theory that Aryans were not in some outsider, not the people who came from steppes of Russia, but maybe the indigenous people, because now we are getting the evidences that from the Harappan civilization to the Rigvedic or Vedic age, there is an evolution which took around 400 years. So this is all from my side for today, and about this excavation. To read more about this, we can refer to our website. Thank you so much. This is Deepak Thakur signing off today.